Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome award-winning, multi-platinum country music icon and star of the upcoming Fox series Monarch, Trace Adkins.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
RICMOTECH, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, RICMOTECH.com.
The following is an All-Star 15 TV production. Hello, race fans, and welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway's Roval for the first race in the round of 8 for the XMS RICMOTECH Truck Series. Joining me up in the broadcast booth is the one and only crew chief of the Stars, Gary Wells. Gary, dude, how are you, pal?
Oh, no, I feel like I'm getting replaced by Joe Hutchings as far as crew chief for the Stars. I'm just kidding. It's good to be here at the Roval. I'm really excited to be with you here tonight, AJ. It's going to be fun. First race for the round of 8 for these drivers, and we got Porsche leading the field. That's a first.
Yeah, I think they change it up for when we get to a road course. Kind of nice seeing a different vehicle out front. Kind of wish I was driving in the Porsche. Granted, they might never see it again if it was me.
That's right.
But I'm excited for tonight. We're looking at a full field here. All 8 playoff drivers this evening are in the field. Pole sitter Justin Opplinger, which we'll talk to him in just a moment. But I'm excited for it. Road course racing is always fun. But Gary, what are we expecting from this tonight?
Well, these drivers are really going to have their hands full. Really, the biggest trick, the trickiest turn I think is going to be is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going through 7. So that's a downhill as they head back to turn 8 to get back up onto the oval. And then I think that chicane on the back stretch, that's going to be another tough part. Getting that truck slowed down to where you're not wheel hopping and just making sure you have enough grip to get through there. And then, of course, I think the first turn, the Tums heartburn turn, is going to be a tough one as well tonight.
Absolutely. We've seen a lot of drivers just go head first into that turn number 1. But let's talk to our pole sitter real fast before we start moving up on the racetrack. It's the driver of the number 51 for Axis Racing Team, Justin Opplinger. Congratulations on the pole at the Roval. What are we expecting from that 51 this evening?
I didn't really expect a pole because my teammate Caleb Bacon, he's in here, but he hit the wall a little bit. But we're just going to try and manage our tires out front and see what we can do from there.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how this is going to go. It's the start of another round. How are you going to attack the race tonight?
Be aggressive. I'm keeping my teammate Caleb Bacon in mind as well because he's still in playoffs. So if it ever gets to a chance and we're pointing the end of the race, I'll be a little bit smarter on that decision. But be pretty aggressive with everyone else on the track and just try and get a win here.
All right, brother. Well, good luck into tonight's race. And maybe we'll talk to you at the stage or even at the end of the race.
Thank you.
All right, Gary. It looks like we're getting a full pace lap.
Yeah, which is kind of shocking for Charlotte Roval. You'd think there would be a
where they
short
start
pace lap
right after the chicane on the backstretch. Yeah,
I think we would have been starting, backstretch coming out of Oval 2, but guess not.
Well, real quick, since we have a relatively long caution lap, let's look at those points coming into tonight's race. Justin Opplinger leading Michael Thwaites in second, Ed Morris in third, Paul Irvin in fourth, and there's your cutoff between Irvin and Vidal in fifth, Daniel Krim in sixth, seventh, Caleb Bacon, and Matt Cochran in eighth. Question, Gary, how do you guys figure out ties?
Tiebreaker goes to the best finish of the round. So if Paul and Josh are still tied after, is it Michigan? Michigan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Michigan next week. It will go to who finished highest between the two races. So if one of them gets a win and one of them doesn't win, then it'll go to highest finish if they're still tied after next week. So
Team championship standing has Primetime Motorsports with 1028, Axis Racing Team at 1014, Team GTS at 998, Carroll's Racing 958, Crimson Knight Esports 795, Warrior Enterprises at 585, and then SimSpark Racing at 374. Gary, we're just a couple turns away from sending all these trucks flying into, was that Heartburn turn?
It is. It is still the Tums Heartburn turn.
Everybody, a quick look at the starting lineup. And here we go. About to get that green flag. Going to be a very difficult restart for a lot of people as green flag's in the air, and there goes that whole inside line.
Yeah, that restart's kind of tough down there. Restarting and starting this race through the chicane, so it's going to be an interesting race. It seems like everybody so far made it through turn 1 very clean. As we got Paul spinning around in turn 3.
And he's going to keep it out of the wall. And
Joe Darnell's off track in turn 3. That was Paul in turn 4 that spun around.
Neither of them hit anything, but both of them losing a ton of positions.
Yeah, and this infield section is just, it's a lot tougher than it looks. It looks pretty easy from the booth, but AJ, I did not complete a lap, if that tells you anything, in the Ghost Truck here during practice. This place is very, very tough. It's tough on drivers, it's tough on equipment, it's tough on everything. So I think the drivers that make the least amount of mistakes here tonight, you're going to see them finishing really well up in the top 5.
As Ed Morris goes around, and so does Josh Vidal. Oh, big contact between the
big contact between those two drivers, and that might end their race early here. Let's see how's Caleb Bacon doing here.
Caleb Bacon has a lot of front end damage.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a crinkled right front fender there. I mean, it's a lot better than what Ed Morris and Vidal got. Let's take a look what happened going into the chicane here.
Here's Ed Morris.
Yeah, the chicane, there it is, and he hit the tires. Just nowhere for Vidal to go. And then Vidal stopped in the middle of the racetrack. And Caleb Bacon just nowhere to go. And that's the one thing about the exit of this chicane here too, AJ, that's really treacherous. Just getting through the exit of the chicane, because if you make one false move, you're going into the tires, and those tires do not budge here.
None whatsoever. And outside of Ed Morris, the 35 and the 26, nowhere to go in that at all. Right now,
all three playoff drivers.
Absolutely, I completely jumped over that. My bad on that. But that 35 of Caleb Bacon's just trying to make it to lap 17 for when they throw that caution. And speaking of caution, everybody just saw that huge wreck on the racetrack. If you didn't know, at road courses, cautions don't get called.
Yeah,
unless
they don't
it's
get
for
called
the stage.
Unless it's for a stage, or if there's a major blockage. And race control saw the issue in the chicane. I guess they didn't deem enough to be blocking enough. So.
Blown his blown the motor. Ooh. What happened here?
Yeah, looks like that is a thing. Just through the chicane, man. Again, didn't get a good didn't have a good chicane at all, for that matter, honestly, and ends up head on into the wall.
Yeah, and
I did that in the Ghost car as well, and I mean, I tell you, it is tough, and it blows your engine instantly. So the fact that Kogar was even able to drive away before it completely seized up on him is pretty miraculous.
Doug Tuttle going through the first couple turns, and he's going to just kick it out sideways.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of entertainment and a lot of chaos for these guys tonight.
Gary, just looking at this, we are 4 laps into tonight's race, and Oplinger is already 3+ seconds over the field.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Cream is also kind of one that he doesn't set the fastest lap here at these road courses, but one thing that he's really good at with this road racing deal, and I think it's really come to fruition, what he's learned from Joe Hutchings and those guys at Hutch Sport, is just being consistent and just trying to be there at the end and saving your equipment. Because if you could save your equipment, you're likely going to finish podium or top 5 anyway. And looking at Daniel here, I know he's about 3 seconds back, but he's been running a very, very smooth line. But Justin is just able to be a little bit more aggressive with it.
Well, looking at our tower and the difference between the two drivers, it looks like Daniel Krim is really good through the inner portion of the racetrack. As there goes Caleb Bacon spinning off to the inside.
Oh. Yeah, Daniel's definitely got the infield figured out, and of course, Opplinger's got the speedway portion figured out, which, if you have a couple of good turns coming out of turn, I believe it's turn 8, heading back up onto the oval, you're going to be set for pretty much half of this racetrack anyway, because half of it's ovals. Yeah. So, yep. If Krim can just figure out a way to reel it in and get through these couple of tricky turns through the road course portion a little bit better, he could definitely catch up to Justin. But Justin seems to be a little bit more aggressive all the way around, it seems.
Yeah, and you could really see that on how the times change through the infield to the actual NASCAR portion of the racetrack. And I think a lot of it has to do with the entry back onto the racetrack into NASCAR 1. Opplinger just gets a better launch off of the turn all the way down into the chicane on the backstretch, and even through the chicane, it's just very clean for the 51.
Yeah, very, very clean. And looking at the lap time, I mean, the at least the last lap, Justin was just faster by a tenth. But if we look at the laps so far, the first 5, how was he the previous 4 laps prior to that? How much faster was he? And that's what will really gain his gap here, as we're seeing this past lap here. Justin laid down a 16:20, and Krim laid a 16:95. So
big gap.
Just about 0.3 of a second faster. It may not seem like much on a road course, but if you add up all the turns and add up all the laps, that is a lot over the course of a run.
And we're already looking at a possible 4 retirees already early on into the race tonight. And before long, we might start seeing cars or trucks get lapped. Opplinger, like you mentioned, running a 1:16:20 last time by to somebody like a Matt Cochran or an Aiden Turner with a 1:25 to 1:29 respectively. So a 13-second gap between their lap times the last time by. You keep doing that, you might see a lap down by the end of the first stage here at lap 17.
Yeah, and the thing that's really tough here too, AJ, is they are not running a Charlotte Roval setup for this race. It's a different setup, so it's not really made for the track. They're actually running the Watkins Glen setup. They ran this setup earlier this season at Canadian Tire, and they're running it again here tonight. It seems like it's working out okay, but definitely not purposely built for this racetrack.
Currently watching the closest battle we have for position out on the racetrack. It's Michael Thwaites in the 12 and Kyle Miller in the 5. That is for P3 heading down into Heartburn Turn.
Yeah, it's going to be the full Kyle Miller racing experience right here as he goes to the inside of that 12. And he is going to clear Michael Thwaites right there.
Wow. Do you think that was more of a not a power move for the 5, even though he made the pass, but the 12 just, hey, it's early? I think it's kind of like a both sides of the coin there.
Yeah, I think it's because, we still got 10, 11 laps before the stage. And also the thing to encounter as well, it's a 50-lap race ultimately, right? And you got to get to the end. And we've seen Kyle be really, really fast early on in these races, and then something happened in the middle toward the end portion where he's not running up front. So I think Thwaites knows that, and he's just letting go by here for now, just saying, hey, go ahead, take the spot, and let's see if I can catch you later.
We just got confirmation from the driver of the number 26 Chevy Silverado of Josh Vidal. They are telling him to retire the car. Too much damage.
Yeah, with this new update, AJ, it really has that now for these guys here on the oval side. We used to see it really more common with the IndyCar stuff, anything open wheel really, but now on the stock car side of things, with these oval cars, we're actually starting to see it there being too much damage in order to continue. Normally, it would just be an automatic 40 to 45 minutes in the past. Now they just say, you got too much suspension damage. You're done for the night. And one thing we will have to watch out for, AJ, as we get further on into this thing, the new debris model with the grass and the marbles and how everything collects on this racetrack. If you put a wheel wrong, it's going to leave dirt and grass and everything else for the rest of these drivers going through these corners.
We just saw on that camera, it looked like the 99 of Nate Orlowski was letting the 15 of Aiden Turner by going into the first corner. And Aiden Turner, not expecting it, puts himself in the wall. And Nate Orlowski into turn 3 right afterwards pulls over and lets the 15 by.
Yeah, and Nate is one of those guys where he does not like any pressure whatsoever going through any corner, especially on a road course, and a road course that he's not the best at. So seeing him let the 15 go by is not surprising at all.
No,
as I saw Waits have a moment going through the chicane, I thought he was going to wreck it, but he keeps on going.
Looking for some battles we have on the racetrack. There's really nothing close. Really nothing close, because you have Justin Opplinger about 5 seconds over a second place Daniel Krim. Then Kyle Miller 29 seconds back from there in third. Another 2.5 seconds to Michael Thwaites in fourth. And then 5 seconds to Paul Irvin in that fifth position. So they are spread out.
Yeah, they are spread out. And another thing that we're going to want to watch tonight, AJ, is pit strategy. These guys can make it to the stage on fuel and tires. They can go about 25 laps here at the Charlotte Roval. But one thing we will have to keep in mind is for the stage break. And after the stage, we're going to have about 30 or so laps left in this race. So I think you might see some guys try to play it two ways. One, split the stage in half, because it'll be about 30 laps, so you go 15 and 15. We could see the guys try to work this race in reverse to where, you'll have to pit with about 5-ish laps to go. Maybe 5 or 6 laps into the second stage, we will see guys pit for fuel. I don't think you'll see them pit for tires unless it's the stage. I think everything's going to be pretty much gas and go here tonight.
As we're looking at the 48, Paul Irvin in that fifth position. The biggest mover of the race so far is that number.
Good old Mr. Clean.
Is that number 15 of Aiden Turner. He's plus 10. He's currently riding in that sixth position.
Yep, and he just got done running the Tulsa Shootout last week in the real world. So back here on the virtual stuff here tonight. And, having a pretty solid run. Like I said, gained 10 spots at the start of this thing.
And that's a heck of a chunk to gain. Even if he just holds sixth place till the stage, that's going to put him in a really good position for that second stage and the rest of the way to lap 50.
Yeah. And pretty much everybody on the Axis Racing team went to Tulsa last week for the Tulsa Shootout. So just coming back and getting ready. Now it's kind of back to off-season mode and getting ready for their first dirt race of the year.
Well, everybody, you are watching All-Star 15 TV's broadcast of the XMS RICMOTECH Truck Series from the Charlotte Roval, race number 1 in the round of 8. We're going to go side by side and say hello to some of our sponsors.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
RICMOTECH, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, RICMOTECH.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We're back, everybody, and nothing has changed. You did catch Doug Tuttle spinning out on the infield portion of the racetrack. A little bit of damage. He's on pit road right now, trying to get it fixed. But gap management, Gary, and I think that's exactly what the 51 is doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. And, we're coming to, 2 laps left from the stage, and they will close pit road the next time the lead across the start-finish line. So if you're wanting to pit before the stage, now would be the time to do it.
Another big wreck that we've seen is the 29 of Joe Darnell. Maybe not a big wreck, but enough to where it... Oh, enough to where there's damage on the front end of the 29. Gets going again, but somebody who had to jump to pit road is the 28, Ed Morris Sr. I wonder if it's the same spot the 29 spun. What do you know?
Very
yes,
much so. Yeah, and that's kind of an off-camber corner, and it's so inviting to hit that curb out there. And when you do, it's either going to spin your truck out or it's going to make your truck incredibly tight. And you got to make sure that you have the wheel pretty much straight before you can go full throttle there as well. And we've seen it so many times where even if you're still inputting the wheel and you go over that curb, it's just going to send you back down to the inside every time.
This is wild. In all my preparation for tonight's race, watching a lot of Roval racing, some past Roval racing here on the channel, was not expecting this. We are just a lap and a half away from calling the stage, and only 6 trucks are still on the lead lap.
I think there's only one driver that could probably give Justin Opplinger a run for his money, and he's in the control tower.
Yeah, Scott Rambler, absolutely.
That's exactly right.
I would have been curious if Caleb Bacon didn't get wrecked coming out of the bus stop.
Yeah, that's another one too.
Because I feel like there would have been a lot of strategy play there.
Yes.
To get him up towards the front, but Hey, that's how races go.
Yep. Unfortunately, that's how it goes, and you just gotta go with the flow sometimes. And unfortunately, Caleb got bitten by the luck bug because he didn't qualify like he wanted because he was off track and hit the fence. And then, of course, tonight being involved in somebody else's ordeal there between Ed Morris and Josh Vidal coming out of the chicane on lap 1.
So, Gary, this will be a first for road course racing in XMS. We're supposed to throw the caution when 10th place crosses the line.
Yes, even though he's a lap down, they will still count it and throw the yellow on the lap that it's supposed to be thrown on.
Okay, so they won't go an extra lap.
No, they won't go an extra lap. They shouldn't be anyway. But we'll see how good the race control scoring software is working tonight.
Even if anything, as long as they get the lead lap trucks, I feel like that's where you would call it. But
probably in most scenarios, but we'll just kind of have to see what happens.
Going into the final chicane, back to the start-finish line, Justin Opplinger is going to win the stage at Charlotte Motor Speedway's Roval. Now, even though he wins the stage, he's got to keep going.
Yeah, here a little bit to Krim. Probably coast a little bit. You don't want to coast too much, but gotta maintain your lead spot and keep your position because that caution won't get thrown until 10th place crosses the line, which it looks like it is Joe Darnell. He's coming through the chicane for the final time. And just kidding, it's Christian DeBoer. Sorry. He's coming through the chicane for the final time. And that should be it.
Here comes Kyle Miller for third crossing the line.
Throw it. Okay.
Paul Irvin going into the final chicane. That's fourth place. I think they might be doing it for all lead lap cars.
That's what I'm thinking.
Michael Thwaites now.
And Aiden's not too far behind him, just a couple of seconds back.
And that'll be it for lead lap trucks.
Yeah, still seeing DeBoer here in that 10th spot.
There it is.
There's a caution.
Our first and
Looks
only...
like they had to manually throw that caution there for the stage. Which looks like they'll have to go yet another lap to pick up the pace car.
Yep.
And these pace laps are extremely long here at the Charlotte Roval, so having to get around here and bunch this whole field back up, even though it's only 2.25 miles, it's still a long way around here.
First and only caution flag we're probably going to see tonight. Justin Opplinger winning the stage, grabbing some very valuable points. You have Daniel Krim in second, Kyle Miller third, Paul Irvin in fourth, Aiden Turner in fifth, sixth, Michael Thwaites, Nate Orlowski holding on into that lucky dog position in seventh. Eighth, it's Matt Cochran. Ninth, Joe Darnell. Christian DeBoer rounding out that top 10. Caution here this evening brought to you by Elite Entertainment LLC. Surprised we don't have Adam Capps out there this evening, but, you know.
If he's out there, that's his company.
Yeah, it is. They should be picking up the pace car, the beautiful Porsche iRacing safety
car is coming out now. Yep.
Now, Gary, what are your takeaways from the first stage and how it went by?
A lot of attrition. I mean, that's the big thing that sticks out to me. You had issues with Ed Morris, Josh Vidal, Logan Koger on the first lap. All on the same lap there, having issues just completing that one. Then you had issues with Tuttle and Brent Humphrey and Caleb Bacon and those guys. And, it put them several laps down from the get-go. So a lot of chaos and a lot of attrition sitting in here. And honestly, with Nate being where he's at, running in seventh, only a lap down, started fifth, he should be getting his free pass. And if he does, he'll be right back on the lead lap and still have a shot at a top 5 finish. But if you look at Aiden, started 16th, currently running that 5th spot. He's just kept it on the track, and I think that's really what's gotten him up to where he's at right now.
I'm kind of curious if we're gonna see a possible possible strategy with some of these 1 lap down trucks where they stay out, get the wave around, and then when they are about to go green, that lap that they go green, cut down pit road, grab freshies. You're still gonna be on the lead lap, but now
because you won't lose a lap, that's for sure.
No, the only thing that's gonna bite you in the butt is you're not gonna get a caution. So at that point, you're hoping for more people to have mistakes, or if we do get a caution and there's a huge track blockage, which if we didn't get one lap 1 coming out of the chicane on the backstretch, I doubt we're gonna get one.
Yeah, that is for sure. That is for sure.
Keegan, thanks for sharing the stream on Facebook. Yeah, right now, only 6 trucks on the lead lap. I would assume everybody's coming down pit road.
Yeah, at least for fuel. It'll be interesting to see if drivers decide to take tires or not. So we'll have to see how that pans out for these drivers here. And I believe Nate is going to get his lucky dog right about now.
There it goes. Now here's the thing. With it being a road course, you might get the lucky dog. Don't spin out trying to catch the field.
Yeah.
We've seen it happen.
Honestly, yep, and we've seen it on many road courses here in the past where you get a lucky dog and spin. Heck, I'm pretty sure I've done it, so... Been there, done that, got the T-shirt. I got a PhD in DUMB, so there you go.
Never heard that before.
There you go. Now you can use that.
Well, shall we talk to our stage winner, pal?
Yeah, he's catching up close enough to the pace car. Let's go ahead and talk to him.
All right. Justin Opplinger, it's AJ and Gary in the broadcast booth. I kind of figured we were going to talk to you at least one more time tonight. But how was that first stage? And that was an absolute butt whooping on the field.
It was pretty perfect for me, I'd say. Did everything right and didn't mess up. It's pretty easy here to mess up, especially down the backstretch, and you can spin out on a lot of these corners. So I think we executed very well, and we'll just try and do the same here in the second stint and bring home the win.
All right, brother. Well, hopefully we get to talk to you at the end of the race, too, to give it the trifecta this evening. But good luck the rest of the way, and enjoy it out there.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Gary, for that.
Of course. By the way, as we are under caution rolling around here, I know this caution is sponsored by Elite Entertainment, but just wanted to give a birthday shout out to Daniel Cram. He is racing here tonight, running in that second spot, and it's his birthday, so hopefully he can bring home the podium for his birthday.
Happy birthday, Daniel Krimmer, is that what I called him earlier? Kind of a joke, calling him the Crimson Chin. If you're a Nickelodeon kid growing up, the
superhero and the Fairly Odd Parents, but also fitting that
There you go.
ginger beer. I mean, what?
Well, should be lining up this time by leader gets pick. I'm thinking with how good the start of the race was, being on that inside, I would take that inside again, especially if you have Paul Irvin behind you once again, which he will. But there you go. Caleb Bacon, the 56 of DeBoer, and it looks like the 4 of Matt Cochran staying out to grab that wave around. Maybe they're trying that strategy I might have mentioned moments ago.
I think they were listening to you there. Wave around. And a lot of these guys, too, some of them did pit. during the green flag conditions.
All right, well, you see everybody starting to grid up. Looks like a small field because now it is a smaller field. Multiple trucks out of tonight's race. You're looking at Morris, Kogar, Vidal, Tuttle, Humphreys, and Ed Morris Sr. In pit road trying to get that truck fixed. Playoff drivers out of tonight's race. Morris and Vidal, Caleb Bacon, -5 laps right now. So there's going to be a lot of points sway at the end of tonight's race. And that cut line is going to be very fun to watch. And stay tuned to after the race tonight. Well, we will post on the channel Facebook what the points look like. We'll get a graphic made and we'll let you know where everything sits ahead of Michigan next Tuesday and Wednesday. But Gary, we're just about a half a lap away from setting these trucks green once again. Just shy of 30 laps to go here for the XMS RICMOTECH Truck Series, the final road course race of the year. And so far, they've put on a pretty good show. Like you mentioned, there's been a lot of chaos and a lot of aggressive attrition, too. You see the drivers battling the racetrack more than they're battling other drivers.
Yeah, this also almost kind of reminds me of a place like Darlington or a place like, Old Atlanta, where you're racing the racetrack more than the other vehicles around you. And this place, the Roval here tonight, has definitely been a lot of that.
Yeah, how about Darlington? Darlington's another one.
Yeah, Rockingham too, but we don't race there, so.
I can't wait for it. The league on Monday nights here on the channel's got it. Their a race next day. I think it's the All-Star race, and we just have to switch the time of day. Appreciate that, Gary.
Yes, sir. Pace car is in, and we're going through the chicane to take the green flag here. 29 laps to go. It'll be lap 22 when we take the green.
There we go. Green flag in the air. Krim trying to get a good, even restart with Justin Opplinger. And there we go, crossing the line. The 51 heads down at the heartburn turn, and he's going to have the lead over Daniel Krim.
But Krim is a lot closer than he was on the initial start of the race as he got loose right there. Going to ruin any potential momentum that he had. He's going to have to deal with the 5 and the 48.
Yeah, it's not even, you don't even worry about the 51 at this point. You're worrying about the trucks behind you, because late in the run, in the first stage, that number 5 was putting down lap times that were better than the 47.
Yeah, so he knows that over the course of the run, that 5 might be a little bit better, so constantly we'll have to be watching out for him. And, of course, Paul, too, he's no slouch at these road races.
We've only had one driver to not pit yet in tonight's race, and that's the number 4, Chi-Chi's of Matt Cochran. He's in 9th, has yet to pit. He's going to have to come to pit road
Christian
soon.
DeBoer as well.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, big damage on the 5. We're going to have to back that up and take a look at it. Holy
I
cow.
bet it was from the infield section.
Ooh.
Oh, no. Maybe not. Oh.
No. He kind of killed the
one of those things
chicane.
going through the chicane. Oh,
Holy,
my
he hit
God.
a turtle.
He hit a turtle and he hit the fence. He almost jumped the fence. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Kyle Miller racing experience.
He crashed again afterwards, going into the final chicane.
Well, he missed it.
And then he ends up jumping the pit road.
Yeah, I think he had some suspension damage there that he's going to have to fix.
If he only had suspension damage, that's pretty good for how hard he hit everything.
That is very true. Yeah, he's on pit road right now getting all that fixed, and I'm sure we will be seeing him back out on track.
Well, there's your race leader already. We've only gone green for about 2 laps in this final stage, and he's already, 2 seconds ahead. Justin Opplinger is just putting a butt whooping on the field. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And he just put the fastest lap on the board, a 1:15.70.
Yeah, and he's not even trying, I don't think, out there. He's being absolutely perfect. He's got no pressure. Now, one thing that we are going to have to unfortunately watch, Caleb Bacon was probably the other driver that Justin told us to watch out for tonight. Real-life road racer with that real-life experience. He is hounding, even though he's 6 laps down, he is absolutely hounding that 47. He is closing in on Daniel Krim, running just about as fast as Daniel.
Well, he almost matched Opplinger's lap time last time out. Like I said, Opplinger had a 1:15.70. Caleb Bacon, a 1:15.93.
Yeah, so, yeah, if there's anybody that's going to be matching his pace, I think it's going to be that 35. And if I was Daniel, I would just let him go. If he catches me, I'll let him go.
And for some of these drivers, Gary, this might be a little bit of a tune-up race for what some of these drivers might have coming up in the next couple weeks with the Daytona 24. Not the same racetrack, completely different configuration, obviously, and different vehicles, but the strategy along with the procedure of the race roughly about the same.
Yes, very much so. Definitely different types of cars, next week in the Daytona 24. Definitely different racetrack, different animal altogether. But, practicing on a road course is still practice. I know it's apples to oranges from a prototype to a stock car truck out there, but still, it does help you with your marks and getting you into a rhythm. And you could kind of treat this like the bus stop at Daytona, even though it's not really the same. I mean, you still have the same principles applied to it.
Wow, look at that. Daniel Krim smacking the brakes, letting the 35 go.
Yeah, 35 had a massive run there, too, coming out of the chicane. And also, AJ, this weekend, the Endurance Championship for iRacing, they're having a 6-hour endurance event at Daytona on the road course. And there's also the Roar as well. I believe that's a 3-hour race, if I'm not mistaken.
I know.
So,
don't you normally have a driver with Warrior enter the Roar?
We do typically. I mean, I was going to do the Roar this year, and I believe Robinson was going to do... Ooh, I thought 35 was spinning there. We normally have Robinson will do the Roar as well. He'll participate, but I saw that we had the 6 hours at Daytona, and I said I kind of want a more test time and race conditions for that car at the track ahead of next week, and we decided we're going to run that instead.
There you go. More track time is more track time. And it looks like Nate
right.
Orlowski having an issue going into turn 1.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No big hit. Gonna be able
Not
to keep
a big
going.
hit. He'll hit. Able to keep going, yeah. He'll be all right. I mean, still having a really solid night running in that 7th spot. I mean, I cannot emphasize how hard it is to get around the Charlotte Roval, and he's done a whale of a job. For the most part, earning that little slide off there. Been keeping his truck really clean and keeping at it and running really well. So kudos to him.
Fastest lap of the race now jumps to the 35 of Caleb Bacon. It's amazing. Unfortunately, he is 5 laps down, and he is burning it down. I'd be scared if I was Justin Opplinger. If he was on the lead lap. Not scared.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he's on the lead lap, that's a big if.
a friendly competition between teammates that you guys are blowing the doors off of the rest of the field, even though Daniel Krim is doing a very good job in 2nd place. He's still a very fast truck on the racetrack. It's just these guys are putting consistent 115s down, while Krim is doing 116s.
I'm surprised the 35 hasn't had more damage because of how he's exiting the chicane. You see the 51 kind of taking more of his time, where the 35, he's just hitting every curve and turtle imaginable.
And they just put Matt Cochran a lap down now. He hit pit road just a lap and a half ago.
Yep, he sure did, and that's going to put him back a lap down, and probably all she wrote for the Chi-Chi's truck tonight.
You got to throw some Hail Marys, and especially being a playoff driver.
Yep, absolutely. But, I mean, the other guys have had trouble, so as long as you could stay ahead of them in the standings, I know it's only going to be a couple of points different, but as long as you can finish ahead of them in the race, I think that gives you a confidence boost going into next week.
The 56, the Christian DeBoer hitting pit road. Kind of an unscheduled pit stop for him.
Well, it also might be scheduled unless he pitted earlier, which I don't see that he did. I think this is his first stop of the night here, so a lot of these guys probably looking to hit pit road here pretty soon. I would imagine probably around 20 to go is when we might start seeing some pit stops from the lead lap vehicles.
Well, we are just a lap or two away from that 20 to go already. Oh, God!
What did you
Holy
see?
cow. I saw Justin Opplinger coming out of turn 2 get very close to that outside wall.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys, that's what they're going to be pushing for, especially with these heavy stock cars or trucks in tonight's case. They're going to be hitting the curbs. They're going to be using every inch of the racetrack that they possibly can.
Which that's all fine, but holy cow, that I saw.
It'll make you get close to walls, that's for sure.
Aiden
Using
Turner
every piece of asphalt.
Especially with the NASCAR vehicles, we see on iRacing and also real life that they expand the racing line well past the actual racing surface.
Yes, we do. We see it quite a bit.
And I keep looking at after the carousel at Watkins Glen, where they're running all like they were running the boot, but then they cut it back towards the straightaway.
Yeah, the chicane or the carousel at Watkins Glen stands out. Any exit of a corner at Coda, it seemed like, except for the S's. Even the little chute down between turn 4 and turn 7 at Sonoma.
Yep.
I mean, they get close right with that tire barrier, almost hitting it sometimes. Coming out of there, so yeah, I mean a lot of instances. I mean, even really with NASCAR when they raced at INS, the main thing that I could think of is the chicane going down the backstretch.
Right in front of the 4 of Matt Cochran.
Oh,
what do you know? Matt Cochran gets around Aiden Turner, and those were just fresh cold tires on that 15.
Oh yeah, it hits the turtle just wrong and it sends him around.
See if we can go back and look at it. Might have to back it up just a little bit. Nope, we'll have it right here.
Yep, here he comes, coming down the straightaway into the next corner here. Hits the turtles, round she goes.
Really easy to do in the trucks. Sometimes you don't even see the turtles.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you're sitting in the truck, I don't care if you're sitting in the truck or you're the Xfinity car or the Cup car.
No.
Those turtles are hard to see. Oh, no, as we got Krim around. What happened to Daniel Krim? Oh, he wheel hopped it. He definitely wheel hopped it right there, AJ, going into turn 1.
We're having more troubles on the racetrack. Matt Cochran, Aiden Turner, the both of them. Here's Matt Cochran heading down into turn 1. Paul Irvin to the inside.
Oh, and Aiden just getting loose under braking and absolutely clips the left front of the Ford truck, and I know Matt was definitely not happy with Aiden on that one.
I'm guessing there was some radio communication
There was
afterwards.
some radio. It was appropriate. He was like, "What are you doing? You know, what are you doing? Use some caution going into one." But opted not to, obviously.
Well, looking at
But that honestly, AJ, I mean, if you look at Paul, that's the difference between winning a championship and not winning potentially, right? Because if you get taken out from third like that, that can mess up your whole playoffs, mess up your whole season. As he went to a tie tonight, as we mentioned, with Josh Vidal.
Yep. And Gary, I know you mentioned it earlier in the race, but keeping it on the racetrack, even if you're not a really good road courser, but keeping it out on the racetrack, you find yourself in positions to get a really good finish. That 99 right now
AJ,
is
we
fifth.
just got word from race control. That incident we saw between the 15 and the 4, incident responsibility on the 15. He will have to make a pass through under green.
Oh. There he is right there, and that's good on race control. Even though there's no cautions outside of the stages for the most part on these road courses, these drivers still need to be policed to a certain extent. And kudos to the race control for keeping an eye out for incidents.
Yes, absolutely.
Daniel Krim hitting pit road. Gary, you were spot on. Just under 20 to go. Here comes the 47, giving up that second position. And here comes the 15.
Yep, here comes the 15 as well. I think a lot of these guys just going to be mostly gas and go.
Well, here's the thing. This is a penalty for the 15. He can't service the vehicle. He has to pass right through.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, he has to pass right through. But for Krim, this is a normal pit service here. Looks like
Michael Thwaites.
He took tires at the weights. Is also on pit road. Normal service for him.
I mean, if you have to fill up the truck, might as well take the tires, because doesn't it take the same amount?
It takes about the same amount of time, yes. But I know in the past, when you've raced a stock car here, cold tires after a pit stop doesn't normally mix well. You want to keep the tires hot so that way you have traction. But maybe that's changed over the last couple of years with the last few updates that I've seen. So.
And there's Daniel Krim. Makes a full pit stop and comes out in third position. That's wild. And Caleb Bacon still fast lap after fast lap after fast lap. Good racing for everybody in the field. We've had a lot of chaos, a lot of carnage, but it's been very cool to see a lot of these drivers to fight through adversity like the 35. If he stays in it, there's a good chance he might get an extra position or two, Gary. And he's in that 10th spot. He's 5 laps down in that 10th position.
Yeah, definitely possible. Depends on, how bad some of the damage is and how many more laps these guys fall. But definitely a place for Caleb where he could maybe finish 9th or maybe even 8th in this race.
And as a playoff driver, every position counts.
And every position's a point.
Well, that was scary. Everything just blinked for a second. Got really nervous.
That'll make you nervous.
It did. Very much so. Almost said an expletive on air.
Again?
Let's not talk about the first one.
I didn't. You said it, not me. There was also some things that happened there.
Everybody, you're watching the All-Star 15 TV broadcast of the XMS RICMOTECH Truck Series, coming to you live from Charlotte Motor Speedway's Roval. It's race number 1 in the round of 8. Currently, your race leader, and probably for the majority of it, the 51 of Justin Opplinger right now in second, the 48 of Paul Irvin, Daniel Krim in third, Christian DeBoer in fourth, 1 lap down in fifth. It's Michael Thwaites, 1 lap down in sixth. It's Nate Orlowski, Matt Cochran, Joe Darnell, and Aiden Turner all 1 lap down, 7th, 8th, and 9th. In 10th, 6 laps down, it's Caleb Bacon, Kyle Miller, Ed Morris, Brent Humphreys, Doug Tuttle, Josh Vidal, Logan Kogar, and Ed Morris Sr. In 12th, Ed Morris in 17th, all out of the race. You have to add a junior or a senior to one of them on the
both of them. They're both out.
And here comes our race leader, Justin Opplinger. Daniel Krim takes over second place as Paul Irvin has hit pit road and back out on the racetrack. I can't wait to see the gap between the 51 and the 47. Right side tires going out on the 51. Let's see if that left side goes up. It will. He's taking all 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles, packing the Silverado full of fuel, getting out on the racetrack well ahead of Daniel Krim.
Yeah, Krim coming out of the final chicane there.
Opplinger heads into turn 2, and Krim just passes the start-finish line. So about a 15 to 17 second gap between the two of them.
He could have made 2 pits.
That's, like I said, that's scary.
Yeah, big gap between those two.
Joe Darnell now on pit road, getting service on the 29 for Carroll's Racing. Only 6 drivers on the lead lap. And now there's only 5 as Nate Orlowski hits pit road.
And comes and loses a lap. So, yep. But he's a pretty strong run here tonight. Like I said, despite his issues.
I'd be very proud of a 6th place finish on a racetrack where you're very iffy about.
Yeah, I mean, this place is no joke. Having a top 5 here is a pretty big deal, or even really having the 6th place finish is a really big deal.
Like we said at the beginning of the broadcast, Gary, stay on the racetrack, you'll get a good finish. Guess
Yeah,
what? He's staying on the racetrack. Most likely going to get a good finish.
Yep. That's the thing. You can't beat yourself. And if you beat yourself, that's where you could get into a lot of trouble and a lot of problems.
But everybody, we're going to step away. We're going to say hello to our sponsors once again. Go check all of them out in the description of the video. You have the All-Star Sports Report, the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast, the Wrestling with Nerds podcast, Regeneration Sports Network. They're also broadcasting the race on their channel as well. JVM Graphics, Falcon Grafix. Go check them all out. We will be right back.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
RICMOTECH, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, RICMOTECH.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we're back, everybody. That lead has grown from P1 to P2 to over 22 seconds. And then Daniel Krim with a 20-second lead over Paul Irvin. Paul Irvin with a 24-second lead over Christian DeBoer in fourth. And then DeBoer over Thwaite, another 20 seconds. So they're spread out, and they're spread out a lot. But while we were away, we had a wreck on the racetrack, the 15 of Aiden Turner. We're going to have to back this up because you could see the damage on the hood of that 15. And it looks like it all happens coming out of the backstretch chicane.
And that's just the one thing we've talked about all night here, AJ, on All-Star 15 TV.
Ooh.
Getting through that chicane, and
the motor
there's
blows.
a lot of bumps. A lot of bumps down there, and that could send the truck awry, and obviously that happened there. And it seems like pretty much at any angle you hit, if you're going fast enough, hitting that outside wall on the oval, you're going to be blowing that engine every time.
Very big significance. There's the 35 making a pass for P9, getting by Aiden Turner, moving the 35 up another position.
Yeah, it looks like there's still another 3 laps, I think, of position. But yes, since there's more than 3 laps left in the race, obviously, Caleb will move up into that 9th position. That's where he
already has.
Oh, he already has?
Yes.
Oh. I'm showing there's still a couple laps difference on here still. Oh, okay. Well, regardless, yeah, he will be in that 9th spot.
I think it pre-did it just for the fact of Aiden Turner jumped to pit road.
You know, that's probably it. That's probably it. Yeah, because I'm looking at time and scoring on everything that I got, and I don't see that jump yet. But, like you said, I think SDK is predetermined spots. It's the script, y'all. It's scripted. I'm just kidding.
It's like the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Oh, zinger.
Anyway, But yeah, kudos to him for keeping his head down and just running his race after the accident on lap 1.
Yeah, because he
would have
seemed
thought?
pretty frustrated, AJ. I mean, he seemed kind of down about the whole thing. Was like, well, I'm just out here turning pointless laps now. But, I mean, it's worked out for him. He's going to get a top 10 finish here.
Going from last to 9th, 8 positions, that's not nothing.
Night. Well, and, you know, for a driver of his caliber, when it comes to road racing, we saw how competitive he was at Canadian Tire, you know, winning that race. This was definitely another track. You know, every driver, when they look at the schedule every year, they look at tracks where they could potentially win at, and they circle that on their calendar. I know for Caleb, that was definitely a track he had circled on his calendar going into this season.
Appreciate everybody on TikTok for starting to follow All-Star 15 TV. Thank you, whether you're on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, or TikTok. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow, spam that like button if you're on TikTok watching.
Spam it. We love it.
Seven laps to go. Roughly another 10 minutes of racing for these drivers. And at this point, Gary, just getting to the finish, what's going through your mindset? If you're Justin Opplinger, but maybe a Paul Irvin or Christian DeBoer.
Well, honest answer, you're hoping that everybody crashes in front of you. But really what you're trying to do is you're kind of in survival mode as well at the end of this thing, right? You're just wanting to make sure that you keep all 4 tires on the asphalt. You don't want to hit any curbs or any turtles too hard because it'll send your truck out of shape and possibly end your night too. So one of those things where you're just, you know, constantly just being a little bit conservative, but at the same time, if you could gain a spot or two and be in a position for it, you definitely want to take advantage of it.
On board with Daniel Krim for a little bit here. You could hear all the rubber hitting the car. The hell of an update iRacing put out a couple weeks ago where the rubber stays on the racetrack until you run it out of the groove.
Yep. I mean, yeah, with the marbles, with the grass, with the dirt, I mean, everything. It has definitely been different for me to notice as well because we haven't been used to that in the last few years, and this is one of the major updates they've had to try to make this be a little bit more realistic for everybody, and that's what everybody wants, because you may not be able to buy, you know, spend a couple $1 million on a race truck or a race car, but you could spend $110 a year for a subscription like this, and hopefully you try to get the same thing.
Nice and smooth on the backstretch. And overall, another good lap for the 47 running in that second position.
Yeah, I mean, the Krim has been smooth all night long, except he's had a couple of hiccups here and there, of course, and I think, you know, you're human, it's going to happen, but Justin has just been in a whole other zip code tonight. And you know what? Next week when we go to Michigan, it's going to be a little bit tighter of a playing field, as we know, AJ. Michigan and these trucks today kind of races like a super speedway a little bit, so it won't be, you know, 3-wide racing or anything like we've seen in Atlanta, the new Atlanta, or anything like Talladega or Daytona, but it's one of those tracks where everybody's out in groups. It's kind of like Vegas, where you'll have 4 or 5 trucks together, another 4 or 5 trucks together, and sometimes you have a big old group in the main pack of 8 to 10, 12 trucks. So Michigan next week is going to be a lot of fun. And we'll see a lot more closer racing than what we're seeing here tonight, as far as trucks being around each other on the racetrack.
It's nice. I like how the XMS series put in the playoffs every form of racing that they go through the schedule, because if you're going to be a champion in a league like this, you need to be good or decent everywhere.
That's right. Absolutely. And we're seeing Nate let Opplinger go by. I think it's just one of those things where he's like, I don't want to finish another lap, so let you put me another lap down. One last lap I got to do. Business decision by Nate Orlowski there. But he's also got to be careful because him and Cochran are now on the same lap.
It's separated about 38 seconds.
And a lot can happen.
Absolutely. That's kind of what I was about to go to. A lot can happen as Nate Orlowski blinks out heading into the backstretch chicane.
9, 2, 3 laps to go this time for our leader. Only 3 trucks on the lead lap as Joe Darnell absolutely blows the front stretch chicane.
Now, what's the penalty for that?
Just
slow
stop
down?
him. Yeah, just slow down. Yeah. I think it's just one of those things he knew he was going to miss it, and he wanted to give Opplinger plenty of room, and so I think he also made a business decision similar to Nate to just get out of the line and let him take the spot. A lot of business decisions are happening here.
Yeah, and it's to the lead lap guys, which is honestly nice to see, where you might not be having the best race that you wanted for the evening, but you're keeping out of the way for the leaders, even though they're separated by this gigantic margin.
Yeah, absolutely. You're just doing the best that you can do. And because at the end of the day, road racing can be very frustrating from inside the cockpit because you're almost kind of battling yourself every lap. So anytime that, there's a lap car that's willing to just move over for you, it really is good. I don't care if you're running, like what Opplinger is running in first, or if you're in a battle for second and third spot on that podium. So, but looks like here 2 to go. Popsicle sticks up in the air for Barney the Flagman here.
Yeah, just about 3 minutes left of racing for Justin Opplinger, and he's going to be able to burn it down around this whole racetrack. And if something big doesn't happen, Gary, I think he's going to lead every single lap here tonight.
Just about, yeah. If he doesn't lead every lap, it's going to be pretty darn close to that.
Currently has a 27.5 second lead over Daniel Krim, and has a 57 second lead over Paul Irvin. Ouch. It's like, I wish Rambler could have called in sick to race control.
Come and race this race.
Yeah. That would have been fun.
And if Bacon didn't get involved in his little issue on the chicane there first lap of the race, I think it could have been a 3-man battle between the 51, the 35, and I guess Rambler would drive the 57, right? I mean, pretty much a done deal.
Yeah, there we go. White flag in the air, brought to you by the Wrestling with Nerds podcast. Justin Opplinger, here we go. Just setting sail, and all night long has run his race. And that race has been about a half a second to a second faster than everybody else.
Yeah, he really has put an absolute clinic on here tonight. Done really, really well. I'm sure Justin is probably Paul is wondering where Justin's at, so maybe he could get lapped. I'm just kidding. I think Paul wants to finish on the lead lap here. He's going through the backstretch chicane, going into NASCAR 3 and 4. The 48 is. Meanwhile, we've got Opplinger going through oval turns 1 and 2, making his way up the backstretch to the chicane.
Hey, Gary, this kind of butt whooping reminds me of Kyle Busch at Coda a couple years ago when he mollywopped the whole field.
Yes.
I think it was in the Truck Series.
I believe it was in the Truck Series, yes. Gilliland did that one year too, I do believe, as well.
Into the final chicane, to the start-finish line. Justin Opplinger is going to put a butt whooping on the field and lead every single lap to bring the checkered home. For Access Racing, that 51, Justin Opplinger, your winner here this evening.
Yeah, Opplinger's going to have to stop doing those burnouts because we got guys coming on a live racetrack. Justin, we got trucks coming.
Well, technically,
And we got the 47 here.
After the start finish line, isn't it considered a cold racetrack?
But everybody's got to finish their lap and come back down to pit road. It's not like you can do a stop and
yeah,
go.
I got you.
Daniel going to finish second, and Paul going through turns 3 and 4 on the oval for the final time. He'll be making his way down to the chicane to take that third spot.
There we go, and that's gonna be it. Boom. Still waiting for some drivers to get around. And there we go. Race results are up. Justin Opplinger, your race winner. Daniel Krim, 29 seconds back in second. Paul Irvin in third, a minute back to Opplinger. Then Christian DeBoer, Michael Thwaites, 4 and 5. Nate Orlowski in sixth. Seventh, Matt Cochran. Eighth, it's Joe Darnell. Ninth, Caleb Bacon. 10th, Aiden Turner. Kyle Miller in 11th. 12th, it's Ed Mortis Sr. 13th, it's Brent Humphreys. Doug Tuttle in 14th. Logan Kogar in 15th. Josh Vidal in 16th. And Ed Morris in 17th. That is your field for tonight's race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. We're about to talk to our podium drivers momentarily, but Gary, a very fun race to call, a very wild race to call with how many incidents we had. And I think it made it a little more challenging because a lot of these drivers that had issues didn't have a caution to lean back on.
Yeah, didn't have a caution to lean on, but, you know, at the end of the day, that's part of the road course racing here. You have to be perfect every single lap, especially when you're facing a driver of Justin Opplinger's caliber here. Leading every lap, winning the race, winning the pole, winning the stage, did it all. Heck, even made a green flag pit stop and still came out to lead by 15 seconds. So definitely one of those races for him. He did well, and obviously we'll be talking to him again here very shortly.
All right, well, let's start with P number 3, the driver of the number 48 Ally Chevy Silverado. It's Paul Irvin. Congratulations, Paul, not getting lapped here this evening, coming home third. How's it feel? How was it out there? And how stressful was it out there?
It's bad when it's an accomplishment that you don't get lapped, and don't finish third. It was loose out there today. A little bit. I knew it was going to be loose with and the big thing was to just protect the rear tires, and just keep it on the track basically. Had a couple issues in the turn 2 early, especially lap 1 or 2. I think at 1 dropped all the way back to basically back into the pack and somehow drove back up to 4th for the stage. So I knew then I had a piece underneath me. So as long as I could just keep it underneath me, I knew that we'd have a good chance of a solid finish to get maximized points to go on to the next round.
Yeah, brother. Well, we head to Michigan next week here for the XMS RICMOTECH Truck Series. We say goodbye from the road course and go to a 2-mile D-shaped oval. What are we expecting from that 48 as we head to Michigan next week?
Honestly, be out front. I love Michigan. It's a track position track. Unfortunately, it is drafting, but it is also hard to pass, especially later on in the runs. So it's going to be all about track position, making sure that I'm up there, top 3, top 5, staying out of trouble. Because you can always find trouble at Michigan with it being a draft track. So hopefully, just like today, keep it under me, keep it going forward, minimize mistakes, and hopefully go out there with another solid finish to make it to the Final 4.
All right, pal. Well, thank you for coming and talking with us. Before we let you go, any sponsors you'd like to plug?
Well, the only sponsor I've got on the truck is my beautiful face. So I guess shout out to me. Shout out to me. It feels weird to say that. No, shout out obviously to Dustin Carroll for always making schemes, even if some of them are meme schemes. Like this one. Appreciate him always coming through whenever I have a request. He's usually pretty quick on it, and I have it for the next race if I want it. Shout out to Darnell, Cochran. They had some trouble tonight, unfortunately, but all in all, solid finish for not being road racers. And then shout out to you guys, obviously, up in the booth for putting on a hell of a show as always, and RICMOTECH for sponsoring the series that we get to run.
All right, pal. Well, thank you for coming to talk with us. Congratulations on the third place finish. We'll see you at Michigan next week.
Get the cot ready. Gonna be another podium.
There you go. Call the shot.
All right. See you next week.
All right, Gary. It's time for P2. Take it away with Daniel Krim.
All right. Daniel Krim, Gary, AJ here in the booth. Man, by the way, happy birthday. We'll just get that out of the way. P2 started there, finished there, ran there all night. You couldn't see anybody, but I mean, hey, really solid night for that number 47 Bearded Struggle Chevrolet.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely take that over not finishing well. I want to give a shout out real quick to Josh. He got screwed right at the beginning, pretty much. Me and him were both kind of looking forward to the night. We both have a lot of fun racing the road courses and whatnot. But yeah, definitely just kind of kept our head cleans and just stayed in it. Even if I made a mistake or two at the end there, towards the end, I still just kept with it because I knew I had a good podium ahead of me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, what happened to Josh there going to the chicane on lap one, you'll see it. We covered it. But next week we go to Michigan, kind of a plate track, so to speak there. How do you feel about Michigan next week?
I'm either great there or I suck. There's no in between. I wish I could pull out my inner Kyle Larson and just run the wall and be great, but that's not normally the line there. At least not in the trucks. But I don't know. Like our first ever race as a team with me and you guys as teammates in another league, we both did okay there, nothing crazy. And then I've had other races where I did great. So I don't really know. We'll see. I'm normally really good at Auto Club. I don't know why it doesn't transfer. I wish it would transfer better. But we'll give it our best shot, and we'll take the points from tonight and try to do our best to get into the championship round.
All right, man. Well, any final sponsor plugs or shout-outs you want to give before we let you go?
Definitely got to give a shout out to everybody on the team. Bryant's Motorsports in Hendersonville, Tennessee on the hood, BMS Street or BMS Off-Road, whatever you want to call them. All-Star 15, you guys. Hi, AJ. Hey. Hutchport PC, or Hutch PC, I should say. JVM Graphics on Facebook, Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast, Wrestling with Nerds, Regeneration Sports Network. Hi, Rob. Honey Hill Farm, all those guys, Fried Trucking, everyone that's not on either of our trucks that I haven't been able to get on this season. Shout out to everybody that's come on board with Team GTS this year. It's been a long ride. It's been a bumpy ride, but we're still at it.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on P2. We'll see you next week at Michigan.
See you guys.
See you later, pal. Great job. All right, Gary. It is time to talk to the man of the hour, the butt kicker, the driver of the number 51, Justin Opplinger. Third time tonight we get to talk to him. Justin, an absolute, like we said at the end of the first stage, a butt whooping out on the racetrack, leading every lap and winning big by just about 30 seconds over Daniel Krim. Overall, great job. Talk about the race, pal.
Thank you very much. I wasn't really expecting to win by that much, but I just hit my marks every lap, didn't make a mistake. That seems like that was one of the biggest things in this race, was a lot of people messing up and losing time, spinning out, going off track, hitting curbs. That was a big one. A lot of people hit curbs and damaged their trucks, and we just managed to stay clean. A few times it got a little risky, but just stayed out front and kept it clean.
Yeah, well, you go from the domination of the Roval to head to Michigan next week. What are we thinking for the 51 as we head up north a little bit?
Yeah, I'm excited. I I wouldn't be too excited about my past performances at bigger tracks. Usually those tracks where a lot of draft is involved, I've been pretty good, but a lot of things are out of my control, and that's one of my race styles that I don't like. So, but it can be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Just hopefully I can figure out a way to get some clean air and stay in clean air and bring home another win or help a teammate get a win.
There you go. Well, it's going to be fun to see you down the stretch now that a championship, you're basically looking down the barrel of a championship at this point. But can't wait to see what you got next week. You put a hell of a first race of the round of 8 together, and now we just head to Michigan next week. But before you go, talk about your wonderful sponsors.
Yeah, first off, I'd like to give a big thanks to the Lord above. Without him, none of this would be possible. My mom and dad for the sim and all the things they helped pay for. You guys up in the booth, All-Star 15 TV, RICMOTECH sim equipment. They have great stuff over there. One of my friends uses a lot of their sim equipment and they have no problems. W Energy, there's a shout out. Usually forget that one. But and all the race control and Ed and everyone that helps out with the league.
All right, pal. Great job. Great job here tonight. We'll talk to you hopefully next week.
Thank you very much. See you.
All right, Gary, take her home, pal.
Yeah, really great race here at the Roval here tonight. Definitely not the most exciting according to the eye test, but definitely had its moments of being really good and some good side-by-side battles, even though they were momentarily. But really looking forward to the Irish Hills of Michigan next week. Will not be in the car tomorrow, unfortunately. Had a family friend pass away this past week, so going to the funeral tomorrow for that. But nonetheless, we're here. I'll be here next week with you, AJ, at Michigan in the truck, and then we'll give the number 27 a go next week at Michigan. But a lot of fun in the booth with you as always, and really looking forward to the rest of the season and how it unfolds.
All right, pal. Well, sorry to hear about the loss. Pay your respects for me as well. But take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night right here back at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Rover for the XMS RICMOTECH Xfinity Series. I got Mike Campigio up in the booth tomorrow as always. But take care, everybody. We'll see you later, and check out our wonderful sponsors in the description. Hit that like button, subscribe. Take care.
RICMOTECH, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, RICMOTECH.com.